Good. Now we are learning the Dvar Malchut, the royal words of the Rebbe that was spoken in 1992, right before Purim, the holiday of Purim. We're talking about here the holiday of Purim, or more exactly, the month of Adar. And why month of Adar is a special month, even though it doesn't have a sign, a zodiac sign, doesn't really advertise any sort of blessing or goodness. It was also the month that Moses died. Therefore, Haman was very happy when he threw lots and to know when to destroy the Jews. And it came out the month of Adar. He was very happy because Adar has nothing good on its own. But it says in the Midrash, in the Talmud, it says, but he did not know that Moses was born on that month. And the fact that Moses was born in that month, and Moses is the sum total of the Jewish people, because without Moses, there's no Jewish people. He's the one that took them out of Egypt. He's the one that gave them the Torah. He's the one that led them through the desert, took them to Israel, etc. The whole identity of the Jewish people is through Moses. As soon as the Jewish people thought that Moses was gone on Mount Sinai, he went up on Mount Sinai as he went up to receive the tablets, right? As soon as the Jewish people thought he wasn't going to come down, that he thought he was delayed, they worshiped the golden calf. Without Moses, the Jewish people are finished. So it says that Haman didn't know that Moses was born in the month of Adar, and that the fact that Moses was born, that gives merit to the whole month. In fact, it gives more merit to that month than any other month, because all the other months are dependent on other signs that they have or holidays that fall in them or whatever. And the month of Adar is like the pure, holy Jewish month because Moses was born. And especially the seventh day of Adar, the Rebbe just explained, the seven indicates that the holiness of Moses, etc., was brought into every day of the week, every single day of the week, for the whole rest of the year. That's the whole month of Adar. The word Adar comes from the word of Adir. Adir means above the world. That will be revealed in a complete way in the month of Adar, but it'll be a complete way when the building of the third temple. When the third temple will be built, that's going to be the third temple. It's going to, in the third redemption. What do you mean third redemption? We were redeemed from Egypt, and afterwards we built the first temple. The first temple was destroyed. Then we're revealed by Babylon, and we went into Babylon exile for 70 years, and we were redeemed from that. That's the second redemption. And the second temple was destroyed by the Romans, and now we are in the exile of Rome for 2,000 years, and this will be the third redemption. The first one was from Egypt, the second from Babylon, and the third one will be from Rome. Then there will also be built a temple, but it'll be the third temple, and this will be eternal. It'll be eternal because the world was supposed to be eternal. Before Adam ate from the tree, there wasn't supposed to be death. The world was the ultimate expression of pure godliness, every detail of the world. Geula Nitzchis, an eternal redemption that there's not going to be after it any exile. This is especially to the month of Nisan, that's of miracles. Like it says, in the day of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. It says the third redemption is supposed to be in the month of Nisan. That's next month. That's the third month. So it says this is, Adar is the month which is pure holiness, but that holiness will really be physically revealed in the world in the third temple. And it says the third temple is supposed to be built in the month of Nisan. The third temple is going to come from heaven. So it's all ready. Or according to what we said before, now we can explain the connection between the seventh day of Adar and Parshas Tetzaveh. If you remember, we said Parshas Tetzaveh is the only Torah portion after Moses was born that doesn't have Moses' name in it. And we said that there's two reasons why that are given, and the Rebbe says those two reasons are very nice, but they're not sufficient. One reason is because, I'm sorry, One reason is because that Moses died in the month of Adar, and this Torah portion is always read in the month of Adar. So the Rebbe, that's a good answer, but Moses was also born in the month of Adar, and that negates, that's a whole miracle of Purim. So it's hard to say that Tetzaveh doesn't have Moses' name just because he died in that month. Another answer is that Moses requested from God, God, if you even think about destroying the Jewish people, then destroy me first, wipe me out of your book. So God said, okay, I'm not going to destroy the Jewish people, but I am going to wipe you out of my book, out of the Torah, one portion, this portion. So the Rebbe, that's also not such a good answer, because when did Moses say, wipe me out of your book? This is after everything that happened in this Torah portion. And also it's only next week's Torah portion, Tisa, that Moses said, wipe me out of your book. So it sort of doesn't figure out. So the Rebbe said, I'm going to give you a better reason, a positive reason. The seventh day of Adar is the day Moses was born. That's the connection to Tetzaveh. Why? The whole idea of the seventh day of Adar, the birthday of Moses, is, and Moses is all the Jewish people, is the overpowering of the mazel of the Jewish people, a tokef, a chozek, of the essence of the soul, of Mesirut Nefesh, of self-sacrifice be'echad, in the oneness of God. This is hinted at Parshas Tetzaveh. Ata tetzaveh et bnei Yisrael, Moses, you command the Jewish people, and you should take to yourself this pure olive oil, which is crushed up, in order to bring constant light. You, God says to Moses, you, this is referring to the essence of Moses. This is the essence of his soul. This is the mazel, we said. Ayin, we said, ayin mazel Yisrael. The mazel of the Jewish people is ayin. When in the parsha Ata Tetzaveh, Parsha Tetzaveh, this week's Torah portion, it doesn't mention Moses' name because it mentions Moses' essence above his name. Ata, you. Shalamayla mi Hashem. This is above Moses' name. Ve'ata, that's the first word of this Torah portion, the name of the portion. This indicates on drawing down, Vav, showing it's drawing down. I'm sorry, that the letter Vav is hinted at drawing down godliness, a line that comes from above to below. This draws down from God's essence of Moses, that Ve'ata, essence of Moses, is drawn down. Titzaveh et bnei Israel, command the Jewish people. But the word for commandment in Judaism is the same word for connection. Titzaveh et bnei Israel, connected the Jewish people in a way of tzavta v'chibur. You, the essence of Moses, is what joins all of the Jewish people to be isgabrus Muslim shel Yisrael, that the luck, the blessing of the Jewish people will be increased in the whole month of Adar. Because Tetzaveh is always read in the month of Adar. It'll be strong, the mazel of the Jewish people, the power of the Jewish people. Now, the Jewish people, I'm sure you've noticed, are very few in the world, and they've always been that way. They started out with just one person. Just one person. That's what they always say the question, they say, here there's always been Arabs in land of Israel, and how many Jews have there been, etc. And there was a time when the Jews weren't here. So the answer to that is that the land of Israel was given to one person. Doesn't make any difference how many Jews lived here. The fact is, it doesn't make any difference even if no Jews ever lived here, because God promised it to Abraham, but he promised it to one person. One person. But that person has to be strong. That person has to demonstrate his identity, his Jewish identity. One person, Abraham, demonstrating his Jewish identity is against the whole world, and he'll win. That's why we see there's still Jews today. Where do we have the courage? Where do we have the fortitude? Where do we have the identity, the strength, the backbone to stand against the whole world? It says that we got from Moses. And that we got from this week's Torah portion. That Moses' name is not mentioned. The essence of Moses, above any names. A name is only for others to call. This is the essence of Moses, how Moses is connected to the essence of God. that was given to every single Jew. That's what God said to Moses. It should be taken to you, pure oil, crushed up for the illuminator, for the menorah. This hints at the idea of self-sacrifice, giving yourself totally, crushing yourself, so to speak. Like it says, just like the olive only gives its oil when it's crushed for the sake of the creator. This is the idea of katit lemor, being crushed. Like the rabbis say, the Jewish people are compared to a olive. An olive only brings out its oil by means of it being pressured, crushed. that all the nations in the world oppose us, that is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's almost like a teacher that comes into class and doesn't teach anything. So eventually all the pupils are going to be his enemy. Come on, we're sitting in class. We're here for an hour. Teach us something. No, I want to be a nice guy. Oh, I got a joke for everybody. Listen, here's a joke I heard. We don't like the jokes. We've already heard that joke. And we're not here to hear jokes, even if you're the greatest comedian in the world. We're here to learn things. You have to educate us how to be better people. That's what the Jews are supposed to do. But a teacher could say, but who am I? In the class, there's 30 people. I'm against 20 people. Maybe I'll say something you won't like. Maybe I want to be liked. You want to be everybody just do whatever they want to, right? Everybody do it. That's not a teacher. The Jewish people are supposed to be the teachers of the whole world. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to teach. You have to be outnumbered. You're outnumbered. But we have something to give. What do we have to give? This light and love of God. And everyone should know how much God loves them. That's what it says. But the Jewish people only do it when they are crushed, when they are outnumbered. Kach Yisrael, the Jewish people, when they come to non-Jews, the chovtim otom, and they, how do you say, they oppose them, and they make them suffer, and they make them go from one place to another. By means of the pain and discomfort of the terrible exile that we're in, and there's no need to go into details. We just had the Holocaust with it, and the Holocaust really just was so terrible that it sort of covered over the terrible things the Jews have been going through for the last 2,000 years since the temple was destroyed. Driven from one place to another, hated by everybody, raped, murdered, destroyed, robbed, killed. But this reveals the essence of the Jewish soul. That's the idea of the oil which comes out it's a shemen oil which comes out to me'or, for shining. It says oil, the nature of oil, Jewish people are compared to olives and to like olive oil. The oil, even if you mix it in all of the liquids in the world, it always floats up to the top. And it's pure, beli shmorim, without any dregs. The me'or, only to make light. This is in order what? La'alot ner tamid. This is the sentence in the Torah. To make a constant light. That's the first sentence of this Torah, the second sentence of this Torah portion, Tetzaveh, command the Jewish people, connect the Jewish people to bring crushed olive, pure oil for the menorah, to make a constant light. Kashem Shashem, just like the oil shines up. Also, the Holy Temple also shined out to the whole world. Like it says, Holchu Goyim Lo'orecha. We're supposed to be a light to the nations. Look, and therefore, Nikra Avotenu, therefore our forefathers are called Zayat Ranan. They're called fresh olives. She'em Me'irim Lakol, because they shine the whole entire world up. The Jewish people are the conscience of the world. We're supposed to be the instructors of the world, the priests of the world. We bring blessing to the world. That's what the Jews are supposed to be. The whole intention is not that we should self-sacrifice in a way of going out of the world, but self-sacrifice for the world. That's like Moses, the whole existence of Moses and the Jewish people. Like it says, Atat tetzaveh bnei Yisrael. That's what the first sentence in the story, right? For abortion. You command the Jewish people, you, Moses, your essence, above Moses' name, you connect to the Jewish people. The essence of your soul wakes up the essence of every Jewish soul. Etzem and neshama, the essence of the soul. Like it says, shemen zayat zach, pure oil for making light. shetumshach, not just to make light, for the source of light, should be drawn down and revealed and shining into the world. Kamudgash, like it's stressed at the birth of Moses, when Moshe was born on the 7th day of Adar. It says he's gabrus a mazal, that strengthened the whole month of the whole power of the month. And mazal, we said, is another name for the essence of the soul. It says when he was born, the house was filled with light. That Moses and the Jewish people, this has to be in a way of that it's drawn into the entire world, into all the 7 days of creation, and the 7th day of Adar. Alderich says similarly in the end of our Torah portion. Very interesting. Last week's Torah reading, Truma, we talked about the garments of the. We talked about the vessels of the temple. We talked about the menorah. We talked about the 2 altars. We talked about the menorah. We talked about the showbread, right? We talked about the outer altar. We talked about the the curtains and all the different curtains that they made. All the vessels of the temple were last week. And this week we talk about the garments of the Kohen. Only the garments, not the vessels, with one exception. At the very end of this week's Torah portion, it talks about the inner altar, the golden altar that they burnt incense on. Why did it wait? Why didn't it mention it last week's Torah portion? It says at the end of this week's Torah portion, all of a sudden it deviates from it, it jumps from its topic, which is the garments of Aaron, and it goes back to what we talked about last week, one of the vessels in the temple. What was that? The inner altar, the golden altar. It stood in what was called the inner sanctum, the holy, between the menorah and the face bread table. It said in the middle. It was a small altar, and it was made of gold. Mizbach miktar katoras. Hiktir alav Aaron. Aaron brought on it incense, samim baboker every morning. With the nerot, when Aaron prepared the candles for the menorah, as he brought incense, and in the nighttime, ba'alot nerot, when Aaron lit the menorah, bein arbaim, when it was approaching evening, he burned the incense another time. So in other words, the incense was lit in the temple in the beginning of the service and in the end. She'inyan katoras, that the whole idea of the katorat, of the incense, shemor, this indicates on an attachment and a joining of the essence of the soul with God. The word for katorat also means to be tied, to be unified. It says, Bechad katira et katerna. Like God said to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the Zohar, it says, with one tie, with one, that is, say, bind, I am bound with you. Nimshach mitkaleh me'ir ba'olam. It shines in the world by means of the lights. It says that's the difference between the katoret. Katoret means to be bound up, and the korbanot. The word for korbanot comes from the word of karov, to come near. So the sacrifices, the korbanot, that made us near to God, but the Jewish people near to God and the world near, approaching. Katoret, korbanot, karov, the korev. But the katoret, the incense, is lessened kesher. We are attached to God. It's a deeper, more inner connection. And that's the main thing of Moses, to connect the Jewish people. Tetzava means to connect. According to this, now we can go back and explain these 2 reasons we had before of Tetzava, why the name of Moses is not there. What did we say before? The 2 reasons which are given by most commentaries why the name of Moses does not appear in this week's Torah portion. First reason is because Moses died on the 7th of Adar, and this week's Torah portion is read usually there, so we don't mention his name. Another reason is that Moses said, wipe me out from your book, and God said, I'm not going to wipe you out from the whole book. I'll wipe you out from one Torah portion, this week's Torah portion. Says the Rebbe, the first reason The reason that Moses' name was not mentioned in this Torah portion, because it is near to the seventh day of Adar when Moses died, is not only because the seventh day of Adar Moses died, that this hints at going away from the world, but mainly is because that was the day that he was born. The reason his name is not mentioned in this week's Torah portion, because he was born on that month. Why not mention his name? It says that the fact that he was born, that erases the bad thing that he died. Because when Moses was born on the seventh day of Adar, this refers to the revelation of the essence of Moses, which is above any name. When Moses was born, nobody knew any of his qualities. They saw that there was strange things going on, right? That he was his mother put him into a little box and then put tar around it, whatever, and he floated on the river, and Paro was killing all the males in Egypt, and the one male that he was after, who was Moses, who was going to destroy all of Egypt, that's the reason he was killing all the males, Paro, because he was worried about this one person. He didn't know who it was going to be. And it ended up that not only did he not kill Moses, he saved him. It's pretty amazing. He was born. And it says that the day he was born, before they put him into this box, the whole house was filled with light. But it still didn't show the greatness of who Moses was. The day that Moses was born, all there was a baby. They didn't even have his name yet. His name was given by Paro's daughter. So after she drew him out of the river after he was, who knows, several days old, however old he was when she found him in the river. She pulled him out. Then his name was called Moshe. So when Moses was born, he didn't have a name yet. The seventh day of Adar is talking about the essence of Moses, which is above any name. A name is just something you call him. The birth of Moses, this refers on the revelation of the essence of Moses above any name. Therefore, Moses' name is not mentioned in this week's Torah portion, but just called Ata, you. The essence of Moses, the true essence of what Moshe is, namely total unity with the creator of the universe, the reason for creation. Since the birth of Moses, the essence of Moshe is on the seventh day of Adar, this is connected with all the Jewish people. It says Moses is the Jewish people. Should go over a Muslim, that this increases the luck, the blessing of the Jewish people. That's the essence of the soul. We said Muslim is the essence of the soul of all the Jews. Like it's stressed in the beginning of this week's Torah portion, ha'atzmos, the essence of Moshe, va'ad la'atzmuto, into the essence of God. Hu ba'ofen is a way of drawing it down. Vi ata. Ata means the essence of Moses is vid, drawing down into the physical world, that it's practical. Tzavta b'chibur, with the essence of the Jewish people. Therefore, Meromeses, this parshas in the Torah is called B'smichos l'shiva Adar. Therefore, this week's Torah portion is always read right near the day that Moses passed away. The seventh day of Adar. The Jewish people. This year it's not. This year it's read on what is it? On the second day of Adar. Atz was the essence of Moses, which is above everything. It says, Mecheni nama sifracha, wipe me out from your book. No, what am I talking about? Just 1 second. When is it read this week? Give me a second. Hold 1 minute. 1 minute. It's written on the seventh day, or the eighth day. Maybe it's the eighth day of Adar. I got all confused over here. Just 1 second. Give me a moment. Here we go. Yeah, the eighth day. This year it's read on the eighth day of Adar. Yeah, eighth day of Adar. Okay, but it's the same thing. It's the seventh day of Adar is in this week's Torah portion. Therefore, this week's Torah portion is the one that doesn't have Moses' name in it. Why? Not because he died, because he was born. And the essence of Moses, the day he was born, that's above any name. By means of this, that we don't mention Moses' name, but just Ata, you, which is the essence of Moshe, which is above any name, that this is drawn down and revealed in the seventh day of Adar, and the day that Moses was born. The revelation of the essence of Moshe, the essence of the Jewish people, as it is one with the essence of God. This is a very interesting thing, I think. Now more and more people are talking about this anti-Semitism. It's all over the place. Anti-Semitism, is there such a thing as anti-Semitism? Maybe the Jews deserve it. We're not anti-Semites. We're just anti-Zionists. We're not anti-Zionists. We're just anti-corruption. And the Jews, the Zionists, are the murderers and they're thieves. Okay, it goes around and around. What is Judaism? What is it? What is a Why do they even say Semitism? What does that mean? Semite. The Jews are Semites. That means a Semite. Go to a town and say, can you tell me where the Semites are? Nobody knows what you're talking about, right? They're Jews. What is a Jew? What is a Jew? I think to avoid the fact that nobody really knows what a Jew is, so they call them Semites, which is sort of, they came from shame, it came from the. Okay, but what really is a Jew? So what do you mean a Jew? A Jew is a religion. You know how many non-religious Jews there are that are, how do you say, blazingly jealous, proud of being a Jew. Proud of being a Jew. And if a religious Jew comes and says, you're not a Jew, you say, you're telling me, who says I'm a Jew? Who says you're a Jew? Who said me? They really care about being a Jew. Right? It's really very important to them, even though they're not religious at all. They take a Muslim, a Christian, whatever, he leaves his religion, that's it, he's finished. You're not a good Muslim. I know, I'm not a Muslim at all. Right? You're not a good Christian. I know, I'm not a Christian. I don't believe I'm an atheist. You're not a good Jew. What are you talking about? I'm not a Jew. The guy's an atheist, of the father of atheists. He wrote books against Judaism. He wrote books for the Holocaust, and he says, I'm a Jew, right? There was this guy just died. He just died. I'm not. And he proved everywhere. One lecture, he made a money out of it to prove that there's no such thing as a Holocaust, right? He was sued. He was guilty all the time, but nevertheless, but he's a Jew. He's a Jew. I'm a Jew. And they're proud. Look, I'm a Jew talking about against Judaism. That shows how. So what really is a Jew? It says, okay, it's not a religion. It's a nationality. What type of nationality are we talking about? A Yemenite Jew with a Russian Jew have nothing in common, nationality, color, nothing. It's not a race, not a race. So what is a Jew? What is it? And what is it about Jews that everybody hates? Why is there anti-Semitism? What is there? They give all these weird reasons, right? The Nazis gave it. In Germany, they look for a person. If your father was Jewish 4 generations ago, yeah, it was a blemish. That's not even a Jew. The name might be called on him to be a Jew. So what is the thing? What is the thing? So now the Rebbe is explaining. A Jew is Moshe. A Jew is Moshe. Moses was totally devoted to God, totally devoted to making this world a perfect place, totally devoted to revealing God in the world. That's a Jew. A Jew is a person that's totally devoted to revealing God in the world. You don't know it. You don't understand what it means. That's what a Jew is. That's what Moses comes to awaken in every Jew. According to this, now we can understand the other reason we had that Moses said, wipe me out of your book. This is also relevant to the 7th day of Adar, that it's read on this week's Torah portion, the day that Moses was born, the essence of Moses. This is connected to the essence of the Jewish people, that this is the reason for the self-sacrifice of Moses for the Jewish people. What did God say? When did Moses say, wipe me out of your book? The Jewish people received the Torah. They heard directly from God. The first 2 commandments, they heard directly from God. Don't worship idols. Don't worship anything except for me that took you out of Egypt. I'm God. I took you out of Egypt. I'm giving you the Torah. Don't worship anything else. Every Jew heard it. Every Jew said, we'll do it. And they did it. We'll do it. What do you mean? We'll refrain. We will never worship anything except for you, God. No way. 40 days later, they worshiped the golden calf. So God said to Moses, listen, Moses, there's no way that I can forgive these people. What they did was, it was on purpose and with malice aforethought. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They know the golden calf is not me. Right? They know maybe it's an appearance of me. Maybe it's an angel. It says when they went out of Egypt, they saw the chariot and it was the face of the ox. But they knew that was wrong, but they couldn't stop themselves. What do you mean couldn't stop? A person that can't stop themselves, I don't want that person as a Jew. I'm wiping them all out, Moses. Moses said, wipe them out, wipe me out. I said, no, listen. I'm going to make a new nation out of you, Moshe. They'll all be just like you. You won't have trouble from them. Moshe said, wipe me out. I'm not interested. Don't make me any offers. Don't try to bribe me. I want the Jewish people. They're only going to make you trouble. They're only trouble. I don't care. Me and the Jewish people are one. These are the people you created, right? They're going to have troubles. They have weaknesses. They have difficulties. That's my job. That's my job. The Jewish people as they are, that they should make the decision to defy the world, to defy themselves, to work on themselves. It's difficult. It's almost impossible, but I'm going to get the job done. That's Moshe. And Moshe's been doing the job for the last 3,300 years. That's the Lubavitcher Rebbe. That's what he says. The essence of Moshe, that he was willing to sacrifice himself totally for all the Jewish people when he said, wipe me out of your book. Because of this, Lo Nizkar, therefore, his name is not mentioned here in this week's Torah portion, but even more. Ve'ata, that's the essence of Moshe. The essence of Moshe is to be only for the Jewish people. As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. I think we'll finish this tomorrow. Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, we'll try. Try to finish this tomorrow. Let's here we go.